Here it is, a stimulus check update and the full breakdown of exactly who is going to be getting these next stimulus checks. I have all the details and everything you need to know right here in this video. Let's get right into it. But really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video, as I am your one and only daily advocate, and I am very much dedicated to you and this community to do all the research on your behalf so that you don't need to break it all down into these short videos so that you can get the latest details hot off the wire as this information is being released. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get right into the update. All right, so during this time right now that is so incredibly weird that we're living through, as well as a very busy time as information is changing literally every single day, we're seeing proposal after proposal, we're seeing all these different ideas, and believe it or not, there actually are stimulus checks that are still going out right now to millions and millions of new people. So in this video, as requested, I do want to break it all down and let you know exactly who will be getting these new checks that are going out the door. So I have the full list for you, so let's get into it right away. However, really fast, I want to cover one quick question here. In that video that I posted a few hours ago earlier today, I saw a question coming up from many people down in the comments section, and I want to answer this for you really fast right here in this video. The question was coming in asking, will stimulus checks, will monthly stimulus checks, or will a guaranteed basic income program, in other words, basically the exact same thing with all of these payments, will these impact your monthly benefits in the event you were to get one of these programs? The simple answer is no. Stimulus checks, monthly stimulus checks, and guaranteed basic income programs do not impact your monthly benefits like Social Security, SSDI, retirement, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, even SNAP benefits. No, these do not have any impact on any of these benefits that you are receiving. Here's why. These checks, stimulus checks, monthly recurring payments, guaranteed basic income programs, they are not counted as income, they are not counted as resources, and they are not taxable simply because they are an advance on a refundable tax credit is generally how these things show up. Therefore, it is basically a tax credit that would show up on a tax return in the event you were to file a tax return. Basically, it's just a credit that's waiting there for you anyway. Rather than making you wait until you file a tax return, again, if you are somebody who files a tax return, they send it out as an advance. Make sense? Like a cash advance, which is exactly what the government is doing. So when it comes down to this question, for those of you that were asking, will these impact your monthly benefits like all those that I mentioned just a minute ago? The simple answer is no, not at all. Just like the last three stimulus checks that we received over the last 2 years, the $1,200, the $600, and the $1,400 that we received about a year ago, no, they did not have any impact on your benefits, right? If they did, then we've got a major problem. It should not have had any impact on your benefits. It should not have reduced your benefits. It should not have stopped your benefits. And it should not have done anything to your monthly benefits or anything like that. It's basically just an extra cash infusion coming into your bank account. Sounds pretty nice, right? Yeah, I think all of us during this time right now could really be using 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 of these things coming through on a regular basis, right? So anyway, the power behind stimulus checks, advanced refundable tax credits, and again, even like the child tax credit payments, like I was referring to in that video earlier today, same thing. Those ongoing monthly checks that they were sending out through the second half of last year, again, same thing. They were not counted as income. So even SSI beneficiaries, where if you're an SSI beneficiary, you can only have a very limited amount of income, right, on a monthly basis before they start to garnish your benefit. Even that, you could have gotten these child tax credit payments equal to or even larger than your monthly SSI benefit, and it still had no impact to your benefit. Amazing, right? Yeah, pretty good stuff. Anyway, hope that answers your question for those of you that were asking. Again, trying to do my best here and answer any questions for you, as well as to be here for you to help you out in any way that I can. All right, so with this being said, I want to get into the list and talk about all of these different areas that are actually sending out stimulus checks as of right now. These are already approved. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring my wife Corey in just a minute here, and she's going to read this to you. Now, here's the deal. As all of you know, I come back in these videos, I do all the research, I break it all down into these short videos, but every so often I do like to bring my wife in, Corey, and have her actually read articles to you so that you can hear the words right out of somebody else's mouth, as in the author of the article and essentially where I get all my information from, right? I look across about 20 plus different sources every single day where I get all this information from. So, a lot of times I like to pull all those articles out, I cross-reference everything, and then sometimes I do bring my wife in, just like today in this video here, and I like to have her read some things to you just to show you, hey, this is exactly where I'm getting the information from. So I did bring a video out yesterday, and I talked about state stimulus checks out that are going out as well. Now, I do also want to throw this out there really quickly, and then we'll bring my wife Corey in. There are multiple states out there right now that have stimulus checks or tax credits or tax rebates or voucher programs that are currently on the table right now that have not been passed yet, but basically they're just waiting for the state legislatures to actually get them through. Let me quickly give you a quick list off the top of my head. I may miss a state or two here. I'm just going off of memory here really fast here. As far as the states that still have outstanding programs right now. California, $400 voucher programs per car, up to 2 cars, $800 in California. Hawaii, $300 for anybody with an income under $100,000 a year. The state of Minnesota, $500 for an individual, $1,000 for a married couple. Kentucky, same thing, $500 and possibly up to $1,000 per household. Pennsylvania, $2,000 stimulus check. Amazing. That's a really good one right there. Pennsylvania, up to $2,000 as a stimulus check. That is by far the biggest stimulus check on the state level that's out there right now. Maine, $850. Also, quick side note, Michigan, if you're in the state of Michigan, I saw a report yesterday that came out and said about 1/3 of the people in Michigan have received their $400 insurance rebate check. If you're in the state of Michigan, I'd check this one out. You should be getting a $400 check from your auto insurance. This was supposed to be going out, and the deadline is coming up on that one fast. Also, Chicago, they're starting in a guaranteed basic income program within the next week or so. Check that out in Chicago, $500 a month for the next 12 months, as well as next week they're also starting the lottery for those $50,150 gas cards. So, New York as well. There's also some state stimulus checks in the state of New York as well. So these are the states that I can think of off the top of my head. Again, all of these are still up in the air right now, except for the ones in Chicago. Those are already a done deal, and those are going to be opening up here next week, the 25th and the 27th. Pay attention to those so you can get on those if you're low income. All right, so with that being said, enough out of me. Let's bring my wife Corey in. She will read this article to you, and she'll lay it out exactly right out of this article here and show you exactly who will be getting these stimulus checks that have already been approved and will be going out here very, very soon. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I truly do appreciate it. I'm doing my best and I'm doing everything I possibly can to be here for you, to help you out in any way that I can, and of course, maintain the status of one and only Daily Advocate. So subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, share this video, and go back and check out any of the other nearly 2,400 videos right here on the channel. And with that being said, here is Corey, and she will read that article to you. It's only about 3.5, maybe 4 minutes long, and she has all the details you need to know. All right, Corey, take it away, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. All right, Corey, it's all you.
Stimulus checks to help combat inflation. Federal and state may come to help. By E. Napolitano. If you are feeling the crunch of higher prices in the grocery store or at the gas pump, relief for your wallet could be on the way. Some federal and state level legislation have been introduced and in some cases already passed, and to send rebates or stimulus checks directly to Americans. Unlike previous pandemic relief measures, however, these payments are much more targeted and with considerably lower dollar amounts. That's not because governments have developed a stingy streak. Rather, it's more about helping Americans weather inflation without making inflation worse. Plans focused on specific sectors or groups, such as gas cards or disbursements based on income thresholds, in theory, could help ease the pain caused by prices of specific goods or services, without putting as much pressure on prices more broadly, said Andrew Patterson, senior international economist at Vanguard. Here's how different governments, from federal to state level, are looking to bring taxpayers relief in a world of soaring prices. $100 per month federal energy rebate payment. On March 17th, Mike Thompson and John Larson and Lauren Underwood introduced the Gas Rebate Act of 2022. While it's in its early stages, the act would send energy rebate payments of $100 per month to eligible taxpayers and offer an additional $100 per dependent. Currently, payment eligibility would be structured similarly to previous stimulus payments. Married filers filing jointly with incomes up to $150,000 and single filers earning up to $75,000 would receive the full payment with phase-out levels for higher incomes. The legislation needs to make its way through Congress before payments can begin. Approve state stimulus and rebate check programs. 5 states have already approved legislation to get tax rebates flowing in their residents. Here's how those payments are coming along. In Idaho, in February of this year, Idaho Governor Brad Little signed a bill that allocates $350 million for tax rebates to people from Idaho. There are 2 criteria for eligibility. 1, full-time Idaho residency or filed 2020 and 2021 tax returns, or full-time Idaho residency and filed grocery credit refund returns. The payments are queued to begin at the end of March and will total either $75 or 12% of your 2020 Idaho state taxes, whichever is greater. The Tax Commission will first issue rebates to taxpayers who received refunds via direct deposit and will then send paper rebate checks. State residents can also check the status of their rebate online. In Georgia, thanks to a historic state budget surplus, Georgia residents who have filed both their 21 and 2022 tax returns will be eligible to receive rebate payments based on their tax filing status. Single filers, it's $250, head of household, $375, and married filing jointly is $500. Residents who filed their taxes before Kemp signed the legislation will receive their rebates via payments to be sent out at a later date. Those who have yet to file and do so by April 18th deadline could see their rebate payments added to their tax refunds. Of course, that's dependent on how quickly the State Department of Revenue can incorporate the new payments. Indiana. Like Georgia, Indiana found itself with a healthy budget surplus at the end of 2021. In December 2021, Governor Eric Holcomb announced that Indiana taxpayers would get a $125 one-time tax refund after they filed their 2021 taxes. While residency and eligibility information are unclear, the state's Department of Revenue says that taxpayers shouldn't expect to see this bonus refund reflected when they file their taxes, so don't panic. Rather, the state will send out further information on when to expect these bonus payments in 2022. In New Jersey, in the fall of 2021, Governor Phil Murphy and the New Jersey State Legislature approved budget measures that would send one-time rebate checks up to $500 to nearly 1 million families. Now, Murphy proposes earmarking an additional $53 million to send $500 payments to those who file taxes using a taxpayer identification number instead of a Social Security number. These newly eligible people would include non-resident and resident aliens, their spouses and dependents, and all of whom are ineligible to receive a Social Security number. In New Mexico in early March, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed into law relief measures that would give New Mexico taxpayers a one-time tax rebate of $250 for single filers and a $500 for married couples filing jointly. To be eligible, taxpayers must meet certain criteria. Singular filers' income must be less than $75,000 and married filing jointly must be less than $150,000.